Today we're talking about call sheets, what they are and why they're critical to the success of your next short film. Hey guys, my name is Elliot and this is Filmmaker Mindset. On this channel we bring you real-world film school knowledge as well as tools and ideas to help you pave your own path to success in filmmaking. If you've ever shot a short film or you're preparing to shoot one, you'll know that one of the biggest issues and challenges you'll face is scheduling everything optimally and then conveying that schedule to your crew. And you might be thinking, why are we talking about scheduling? I thought this was a filmmaking channel. When you're out there shooting your film, you want to have enough shooting time each day so that you can get all the shots you need to have the film turn out the way you envisioned it. This means that every single person in your cast and crew needs to know things like when to show up, where to show up, what to bring, what not to bring, what you're shooting that day, what number to call if problems arise, and a whole host of other information that will probably be useful to them on the day of production. Now, if only there was a magical and easily accessible place where they could access all of this information at the same time. Luckily, the filmmaking gods have blessed us with an ingenious invention called a call sheet, which pretty much just does everything I just talked about. And if you're wondering what a call sheet looks like, this is a call sheet, and this is a call sheet. Why do they look different? Well, call sheets can come in different styles and forms depending on the scale of the production and the people involved, but no matter the film, they all carry the same basic information. So let's jump onto the computer and we'll take a look at a few examples. So here we are inside of Excel, and I've loaded up a call sheet template that I found online. I'll put a link to where you can download it in the description below. Now, it may look complicated at first glance, but don't worry, we're going to break down each section and I'll show you what each section's purpose is and how you can fill it out for your own production. So this top section here is pretty much where all the most important information goes. So you can see in the middle, you've got your production title or a graphic. So you can just go ahead and type the title of your film in here. So you know, just for example, The Godfather, or instead of typing it in, you can actually go in and insert an image. Like maybe you have a logo for your production already or some sort of specialized title. You can go and insert that there. Right below the title is the call time, which is probably the most important thing about the call sheet. You have to make sure people know when to show up. So here they've got the call time set as 9 a.m. We can just go ahead and, change it to whatever our call time is going to be. And there you go. Coming over to the left of the top section here, this is where all of the main contact information goes. So you can see we've got kind of the most important people in the production. So producers, executive producers, the directors here, and you can go ahead and just start filling out all of their information, throwing their names in here, putting their phone numbers. Something that is not here, which I usually like to put in, is the first assistant director, because the first AD is sort of the one who's in charge of the crew. And so it's really nice to have their contact info at the top as well. So, you can just go ahead and copy this down, throw in first AD, and then put in their information as well. Below this, we've got the production office. And this is sort of for, bigger productions where there's actually an office number you can call and an actual place, like an address. For smaller productions, student films and stuff like that, you're not going to have this really. And that's the nice thing about this template is you can kind of keep the things you need and discard what you don't need. So in that case, for most of us, we would probably just go ahead and delete this section. Over on the right side of the top, we've got all the information about our shooting day. So you can see here, they've got the times labeled. So what time is breakfast? What time is lunch going to be? They've got the contact information for whoever's in charge of craft services. You may or may not have this depending on your production. Also right up here, and actually along the top section, we've got just more important stuff about your production. So your shoot date, whatever that is, which day of the shoot it is. So like if you're shooting for 5 days, is it day 1? Is it day 2, etc. You can throw your production company up here and then also your episode title, if it's an episodic series. Coming back to this section, we've got all this information about like the weather and what time the sun is going to come up and things like that. This is actually really important because, like, say you're shooting outside, for example, you want people to know how to dress. You want to remind them of what the weather's going to be so, they don't just forget a bunch of layers that they may need or, just so people are prepared. Also below this is another very important section, which is the nearest hospital. This really needs to be on every single call sheet. You need to look up where the nearest hospital is going to be to your shooting location or locations and put that in. So this is just so that if there's any injuries on set, if someone gets hurt or there's just some sort of issue, you can immediately look up on the call sheet where the nearest hospital is, and you don't have to waste time trying to find that information when you're just trying to deal with the situation on set. Right below this top section here is a little section for notes. So you can pretty much put in whatever kind of notes you want, anything that you want to remind people of. Here they've got examples like closed set, no social media. If you want to remind people that there's going to be a safety meeting at the call time, you can put that in here, and just any other kind of information that you want to tell people. Moving down the first page, this section here is where you can put in all the information about what you're shooting that day. So you can go ahead and, depending on how many scenes you have to shoot that day, just start filling it in. So let's say that we're shooting, scene 2A, and we'll throw that in there. And then the set and description. So this is basically comes straight from the script. So the set would be like interior, Godfather's study. And then you can put in the description, and just keep the descriptions really simple. They don't have to be elaborately trying to describe the scene. It's just really simple in as few words as possible. Just say what's happening. So, for example, the Godfather counsels Johnny Fontaine. Really simple. That's what the scene is about, basically. Over here, you throw in your character numbers. So when your AD or whoever's breaking down the script, when they're doing that, they will be assigning each character a number so that you can keep track of who's who in which scene and stuff. So probably the Godfather is character number 1, I imagine. And then let's say, you've also got character 5 or whatever. D/N, this is for day or night. So this is just going to say whether your scene's taking place in the day or at night. And, from the script, you can just get this as well. This is taking place in the day. And then the number of pages, you always want to record this as well, just so people know how much actual stuff you're getting that day. So you'll just throw in how many pages is this scene. So let's just say it's 2 and 3/8, for example. And then what you'll do is once you finish filling in all of your scenes here, you'll go down and total it up. So at the bottom, there's a total pages section. You'll put in the total of how many pages you're shooting that day. And that'll just give people a rough idea of approximately how much work there is. Over on the right here, this section is actually really important because this is where you put in the locations that you're going to be shooting at and any other notes that you want to let people know of. So, and you literally just put in the addresses. So, you're shooting this at like 555 First Street. And then, obviously you want to put in real addresses and make it as detailed as possible. And you can always give people notes as well, like say there's special instructions for getting to the location or whatever you need to tell people so that they can get there as easily as possible. Moving on to the next section, down here, this is where we're going to put in all of our cast information. If you notice here, this column is for the number. So this is where the character number or the cast number goes. And we can literally just take this from the section above. So, whatever characters are shooting that day, we've got 1 and 5, so we'll throw in 1 and 5 here. And then you can just go in and fill in who is playing that character, what's their name, what's their character's name. Over here, SWHF. This section is basically telling you whether the actor is starting work that day, finishing work that day, or whatever. And actually, if you go down here to the pages, there's a page called Legends. If you click on this, it actually is really useful. It gives you a breakdown of all the abbreviations in here. So if you don't know what something means, if you're seeing some letters and you're like, I don't know what this is, just go to the legend, it'll probably tell you. So for example, this is telling us that these abbreviations mean start, work, hold, finish. So what this is saying is that, let's say that it's the actor's first day on the shoot. You're going to put in S for starting because they're starting work that day. You're also going to put in W because they're working that day. So let's say that, it's a 5-day shoot. The actor is working for all 5 days. You're going to put in SW for start and work because they're not finishing that day and they're not holding that day. Holding meaning that they're not being used. Let's say that character number 5 this is his only day on the shoot. In that case, they're going to put in SWF for start, work, finish, meaning that he's starting that day, he's working that day, and also he's finishing that day. He's not going to come back for the remaining days of the shoot. Next column, we've got MU, which is for makeup. And this is pretty much your call time for the actors to be in makeup. So this is sometimes, or depending on the production, it might be earlier than the actual call time listed at the top here. So, whatever it is, I mean, if the call time's 8 a.m., let's say you want the actors in makeup by 7, you can just throw in, 7 o'clock. And then that'll tell them specifically when they need to be there. Then the next column here is set, and this is their set call time. So whatever time they need to be on set by, let's say it's probably the same as the regular call time. So we can just throw in 8. So this is nice because it'll tell the actor exactly what's happening that day, when they need to be there for makeup, and then what time they're going to be on set. The minor column, this is just if you have people under 18, you can just note that there. And then any special instructions, pretty much anything that you need to communicate here, you can put that in the special instructions. Moving on down to the last section of the first page. This is just all the information about stuff that you're going to have on set that day and who's going to be there in terms of extras. So here you've got a list of stand-ins and atmosphere. And atmosphere is just extras. So you can just go ahead and list everyone who's going to be there that day. And here you've got their individual call time. So, maybe they need to come early for makeup or whatever. You can put that in here. And these sections here, this is kind of dealing with like union stuff. So depending on where you are and what your situation is, you can modify this. Over here on the right, we've got production notes. And this is listing stuff that you need for that shooting day. So they've got props, they've got additional things like grip equipment, makeup stuff, anything you really want to list that's important for that day that you don't want to forget. Definitely throw that in here. It's really nice, so multiple people can see it and you don't have certain people forgetting stuff. They can just look at the call sheet. So moving on down, below this, we've got the advanced shooting schedule. And this is pretty much exactly the same as this scenes section up here, except it's for the next day. So you're just kind of showing what's going to be happening on the next day of shooting. And what's really nice about this is once you've filled this in, then for the next day's call sheet, when you're creating it, you can literally just come and take this, copy paste this whole table here, and paste it into the main section in the next day's call sheet. And then you're good to go. Also, at the bottom here, we've got a footer. And actually, they've got the information here for the ADs. This is kind of depending on your preference. I usually like to have this information at the top of the call sheet with the other contact information. So you can go ahead and move that up there if you want, or leave it down here. It's pretty much up to how you like to organize your call sheet. So that's pretty much it for the first page. It's a little bit complicated, but once you get good at filling out call sheets, you can do it pretty quickly. So let's move on to the second page. The second page is our crew listing. And I know this page does look kind of daunting at first, but really the only thing you have to realize about this page is that the most important thing is it's showing everyone's call time. And this is just broken down by department. You're literally just putting in every crew member, every production member according to their department. And you've just got their names, their phone numbers, and their call time. Once you've inserted all of the names of your crew and their information, at the very bottom of this page, we've got one more little section, which is just some more notes here. And this is the kind of thing that you could also throw into the first page in that notes section that I showed you near the top. But they've just got stuff down here, in case you need it. Like, for example, you can put in the safety hotlines and stuff. It's kind of up to you. Again, how you set up your call sheet. You can totally decide whether you want to have this information here or more accessible on the first page. So that's pretty much it. It's pretty straightforward once you kind of take each section and dive into what each section's purpose is. This is really going to help you on your next production. If you have a crew of, anywhere over like 3 to 5 people, you really want to have a call sheet for your production. It just saves you a lot of time from trying to communicate all this information individually to each person. It's much easier to just throw it into a call sheet. It's there, everybody can see it, and then your entire crew and cast will just know what's up. So I hope this video helped you to gain a better understanding of how call sheets are used and how you can create one for your own production. And don't forget to follow the link in the description below to download the call sheet template. It's really handy to use since you can just fill in the blanks and go. And that's it for today, guys. It's time to go make a movie. I'll see you guys on set.